Hi everyone, Dr. Ken here, and tonight in the biohacking series about mental health, I want to talk about something that most of us are plagued with, and some of us a lot more than others. We all experience it at least once in our life, and sometimes a lot more than we'd like to be comfortable with. But I actually want to give it a whole new reframing. I want to actually give it a whole new understanding, because I believe that it's misunderstood. And that's why it's a problem for a lot of people. I think that once we understand its purpose, then we can actually give it a role, a functional role in our lives every day. And that thing I'm talking about is anxiety. Now, I don't believe that anything in nature is wasted. You look at the entire animal kingdom, and nothing that is a part of that kingdom that was ordained by nature or biology is wasted whatsoever. Everything has a purpose, and I believe that a lot of our emotions have a purpose too. I think anxiety has a very specific purpose that is around survival. Now think about it. Yeah, so when you think about it, humans, we don't really have many defense mechanisms to protect us from animals that would eat us. Like when we think about the way we evolved from cavemen, if you follow that description, that we don't have big teeth to bite things and chew them with. We don't have big claws to rake things with and defend ourselves with, or attack other animals. We're not particularly fast when it comes to size comparison, and we're not particularly heavy either. I mean, let's face it, for a lot of nature and a lot of biology, our evolutionary purpose mostly is to be food for a lot of other animals. So when you consider that, we're almost naturally biologically primed to be alert of everything in our surroundings, because if we're meant to be prey, then we need, in order to survive, to be pretty hyper vigilant. We need to be very alert of what's going on around us. Kind of like a mouse when it comes out to feed. It's looking around everywhere like that. Do you reckon a mouse is pretty anxious? Do you reckon a mouse behaves in a very anxious way? Yeah, so maybe anxiety is a way of our instincts and our senses telling us that there's danger around, that it might be around the corner if we continue to act in a particular way, or if we continue to be in a particular situation or environment, that we're in danger and there are threats always around us, or that there's threats that we're in that situation, so we've got to get out of it. And maybe anxiety is that evolutionary instinct, survival instinct, to say, get the hell out of there, stop doing what you're doing, change things before you get hurt. So here I want to actually give anxiety a different name, because I think if the purpose is survival in a potentially threatening situation where our spidey senses are going off and we're feeling a little bit threatened by what's going on, or big threatened by what's going on, I believe that we could call anxiety a different name. I think it's more like, I'd like to call it motivation, because anxiety motivates us to change our surroundings, change our behavior, change what's happening to us, change our attitude. It's motivation, and it's pure energy. Anxiety is another name that we give it, but our society has labelled anxiety with such a negative connotation. People say, oh, I'm anxious, I've got to take something to stop me being anxious, I've got to take some drugs, or I've got to get on some medication to stop me being anxious. But have you ever stopped to think about, maybe your body is trying to tell you you're in danger, or you're in potential danger? And when we take these medications and drugs, we're silencing that internal warning signals, that warning system. We're not listening to it. And then we wind up getting into danger, and then it just makes this big snowball effect, and the spiral gets deeper and deeper, and then we get concerned that we weren't listening, and we get depressed, and we get even further anxious and further depressed. And depression, that's another talk, that's another topic. Again, it's a human emotion with a purpose. And I believe that when we get the energy of anxiety, we call it anxiety, or the medical world calls it anxiety, and we reframe that and we call it motivation. And we can say, you know what, I'm experiencing high levels of motivation at the moment. Sounds a lot better than I'm experiencing high levels of anxiety. And yet the outcome or the purpose is exactly the same. And we tend to celebrate highly motivated people in our society. They tend to be put in leadership roles, and roles where they almost endorse particular behaviours or particular strategies. And we look up to them. We are in return, we are motivated by them. And yet I think it's because they have grasped the understanding, this new perception of what the medical model and what our society has been engineered or trained to call anxiety. They've used that as motivation. They've given it a different level of understanding, and they've reassigned that raw energy, that biological evolutionary energy, into a whole new purpose. And that's why they go from being on Struggle Street to Success Street. So if you've got anxiety, or you think you have anxiety, and you want to actually stop having problematic anxiety, start calling it. Hear yourself say it out loud to yourself and other people, that I'm feeling motivated today. I'm feeling, awkwardly motivated. I'm feeling highly motivated. It's a motivation. It's a get the heck out of there. Get the hell out of the way. It's meant to keep us alive when we're in a potentially hostile or dangerous or threatening situation. If we re-understand that, if we stop misunderstanding, if we re-understand what that energy we call anxiety is for, and we give it a new purpose in our lives, we stop giving it such a negative connotation. We stop being down on ourselves. We stop then turning that motivation into depression. And we start to believe in ourselves and say, you know what, I can do it. And then we start believing in that three-letter word, one of the most powerful words in the English language. It's called yet. Because when we add that on the end of a negative statement, we change the entire outcome. I don't think I'll ever save up for a car. I don't think I'll ever save up for a car yet. I won't get that job. I won't get that job yet. I don't think I can pass that exam. I don't think I can pass that exam yet. Yet opens the mind. Opens up the mind to explore opportunities and possibilities. Where previously, without the word yet in that exact same statement, you closed yourself off. It was a done thing, it was over, forget it, failed, without even trying. Yet gives you permission and power to try. And that, I think, is also a core part of tonight's session, or talk a little bit about anxiety. To give yourself motivation, you've got to hear yourself say the right words. So instead of saying anxiety, call it motivation. It's raw energy, just like motivation is. And it's re-understanding it in its true biological evolutionary purpose, to motivate you. So use it to achieve. Guys, let's biohack ourselves completely. Not just food, not just water, but attitude, mindset. Use elements of neuro-linguistic program and strength-based practices, and let's draw on what we can do. Listen to yourself talking and start using some very positive ways. Okay? Turn anxiety into what it truly is, motivation. Change the way you hear yourself say it about yourself and to other people, and insist that they use it too. I give you that challenge. Those of you who see a mental health practitioner, challenge them. Stop calling it anxiety. Call it what it truly is. Call it motivation. And then let's see how far you get on the positive side of this for a change, eh? Let's turn this into something more powerful. Guys, we are all powerful. And ladies too. And look, guys, those of you listening to this, go to your ladies' friends and share this with them. See what they say. And don't forget the word yet. All right, Dr. Ken signing off.